So below the date that you wrote yesterday, I also want you to put today's date. So 12-1-20, because we're spending 2 days on this same book. Okay? So yesterday we talked about having 3 parts to our story. Who can raise their hand and tell me the 3 parts to our story? Who can remember? I'll give you a hint. It starts with beginning. What are the next 2 parts? Looking for somebody raising their hand and not blurting out. Sophia? Nope, we're working on our storybook together because we need to go back and make sure we have all the details we need. Please do not work ahead. I want to make sure that we get this done the right way. Then you can go and add it to another book. Okay, thank you. Do you remember what these 2 parts are called, Sophia? We have beginning, middle, and end. Good job. So, for today, we're going to be working on the middle part of our story and the end. So, I was telling you guys yesterday that I was wanting to write a story about riding my bike. So, for my beginning, I wrote, first, I got my bike. I heard a couple of you yesterday talk about other things that you were writing about. I heard a tree. I heard some other really cool things. Today, we're going to talk about the middle of the story and the end of the story. So I want you to look at the words I used. I used the word first for the beginning. I used next for the middle, and last for the end. If I go to the back of my book, I can see that on here. We're using first, next, last. So, first graders, for this assignment, I want you to make sure you are using these 3 words. First, next, last. Go to the back of your book. They're right there for you to spell the right way. If Miss Prince shows you where you can find the spelling, I expect it to be spelled the right way. So, before I move on to the middle of my story, I want to make sure that I have finger spaces, capital letter at the beginning, period at the end. Then I check my picture and make sure that I have lots of details and colors. I have a label for me and a label for my bike. So this is ready to go to the next part. So today, after you check your beginning page, make sure it's all exactly how you want it. You're going to be working on middle and end. Alakai, do I want you to use the words first, next, and last? Let's see. Zayden, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, Zayden, do I want you for this storybook to write the words first, next, and last? Do I want you to use these words first, next, and last for your story?
Yes.
Yes. So when you are in your breakout room, you're either going to be with me or Miss Cheatham. She will be checking to make sure that you wrote. She will be checking to make sure that you wrote first, next, and last. Okay? So I'm going to get started on my turn, where I'm going to get started on this middle part of my story. So My story is about how I have this bicycle, and I went and rode it to the park, and then I rode it back to my house. So do you hear that there's 3 different parts to my story? First, I got my bike, then I went to the park, and then I rode my bike home. So, beginning, first I got my bike, middle, next, capital I, went, Now I'm at the edge of my paper, so I have to go to the next line. I went to. Kendra, will you help me spell to? Good job. Good job. Next, I went to the. Liam, can you spell the? Good job. Do you see how I'm putting finger spaces and I'm keeping my writing nice and neat? Next, I went to the. I want to spell park. Looking for someone to help me spell park. Valeria, can you help me spell park? P-R-K.
P-A-R-C.
Park. So, my picture up here, nice job, Valeria, that was beautiful. My picture up here is going to be of me riding my bike to the park. So I want to make sure that my story is in order and that the pictures are matching what I'm doing. So now I'm going to probably draw some trees and the little path that I rode my bike on, just like that. And I'm going to need to draw me. And then last. So I have my special words here. First, next, last. Last, I went home. So I went home. I have 3 more words to write. Looking for a helper. Keela, last, where can you look on my paper to spell went? Do you see the word went on my paper so I can spell it again?
No.
Next, I went to the park. Okay, so will you help me spell went now that we know how to spell it?
Yes. W-E-N-T.
Awesome. And I want you guys to hear all the sounds so we know that we spelled it right. W, and, went, went. I went home. Kieran, will you help me spell home? Home. Good job. So Kieran knew that this E was a long E because of this, or sorry, this O is a long O because of the E. And that's something that we're still working on. So that was perfect. Last I went home. So on this picture, I'm probably going to draw my house. And I might draw the door and the windows and everything. But for right now, boys and girls, this is what I want you to make sure that you have. First, and your words. Next, and your words. Last, and your words. You have to have those words. I'm looking for those 3 magic words. I have them in my story, so I can check them off. If you feel like challenging yourself and you want to use different words, they give you other choices here, but you need to make sure it goes with your story. So if I chose a different word, it needs to make sense in my story. These ones are really good words to choose. So if you don't know, I would say pick these 3 words when you're writing. So make sure you write the right word with the right letter on your page. We're going to get into groups and we're going to focus on it, okay? So we're going to break out into 2 breakout rooms. You're either going to be with Miss Cheatham or you're going to be with me. And that is when we are going to ask that you turn your video on, but leave your microphone muted, and then you can raise your hand to get help, and then we'll help each other out with getting everything that we need to on our story, okay? So we're going to go into breakout rooms now.